This is in Oakville, Ontario. We're at a Ukrainian cemetery. Extremely large cemetery. What brought us today was this memorial to the 14th Waffen Nazi division, Nazi SS division. And I'm here to seek reconciliation for the horrible past of Canada that's ongoing. And at the top there, you can see the Nazi cross, the Hitler Nazi cross, below the trident neo-Nazi Ukrainian symbol, and then a commemoration for those who died in the Nazi 14th Waffen SS division, which is implicated in the murder of thousands of Poles, Jewish people, Russians during World War II. This is history here. This is factual. The reality is that after World War II, Canada let in, unfettered, thousands of Nazis and Nazi SS members. If we fast forward to today, in the proxy war in Ukraine, Canada, and the Western vassals have been supporting, arming, training, funding neo-Nazis in Ukraine against Russia. This is factual reality. We need to reconcile this as Canadians, as Westerners, what the political establishment is doing, how they're using Ukraine, regardless if they're Nazis or not, to weaken Russia. Almost 500,000 Ukrainians have been slaughtered up to this point, and there's no end in sight. But this is the history. It's a dark history that needs to be reconciled. And recently in the parliament, as you all know, the multi-controlled political class gave 2 standing ovations to a Nazi SS member. Hunka was his last name, Hunka. And Jurislav Hunka, 98-year-old member of the 14th Nazi SS Waffen division. And this, look here, this is to members of those who died for the freedom of Ukraine. See the almost Orwellian spin. The freedom of Ukraine, a freedom of a Nazi Ukraine. That's what it's almost an oxymoron, because fascism is not freedom. And you can argue we're living in a neocon, neoliberal fascism in the West, in particular Canada, US, UK, Australia, EU, and that's what it's morphing into. This through the wokeism agenda, the mass immigration into the country, the breakdown, the attacks on children in schools, all this LGBTQ, which I personally link to depopulation agenda and undermining the basic fabric of society. And then we see what's happening in the proxy wars. The proxy war is all about trying to grab onto, hold on to the Unipolar Rules-based World Order, which due to the assertion of Russia, India, China, etc., through BRICS Plus, is ushering in an end to unipolar hegemony by the US. in particular the neocons, neoliberals down there. And we're seeing this through de-dollarization. The attempt in Ukraine is all about trying to weaken Russia through sanctions and now through the proxy war, and it's all failing. So we'll see what happens. But it appears that Ukraine will basically cease to exist. It's going to be broken up eventually. Hungary taking a piece, Romania, Poland, and Russia all taking pieces. And it probably should be broken up, because the foundation of this puppet Zelensky regime, to be very honest, is these neo-Nazis. And it's all based on that dark ideology, and it would be good if it perished. So it's moving towards that. But on the bigger scheme of things, we're moving into a multipolar world. I don't think it can stop. The main war that's being fought, as everyone knows, I would hope, is de-dollarization. So that's the world we live in, folks. But Canada, the Orwellian woke society, it's just a facade. You can see how the multi-control political establishment, puppet I would argue, it's a puppet political establishment run by globalist interests, corporations, central banks, as you know, the global financial institutions. It's just a facade. It's a facade. And this is personal to me because I've been attacked by this very establishment for these things that they're actually doing outright. And they have to go eventually. Hopefully Canadians wake up. If they don't, this country is doomed 100%. And you can see it happening now. People, I talked to someone from Toronto. They're literally getting afraid for their lives. It's a free-for-all right now, and there's no values, nothing. And we'll have to watch closely. But you got to protect yourselves, folks. It's only going to get worse from here. Freedom is an illusion. These elections, democracy, which the political establishment likes to talk about sovereignty, it's all an illusion. It's all a fabrication to justify what they're doing. So we need to call it out. If we don't call it out, nothing's going to change, folks. I've been persecuted immensely by these Orwellian hypocrites. They have no values, no morals, right? They have no moral compass. I was talking to people this weekend, and that's why they do what they do. But somehow we're going to have to find the inner strength to stand up to these I would argue, psychopaths. Basically, that's what they are. The fact that they're even doing this in Ukraine and not even gushing any emotion at all for the hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians that have been slaughtered, not to mention the Russians as well. It is what it is. But I wanted to come here before this thing was torn down by the radical left, but here it is there. This is documenting reality, folks. Complete reality.